Welcome to the Empower Room for Empowering Moments with your host, Timothy Hughes. Empowering Moments is brought to you by Empower Media, LLC, where we empower you, parents, and the entire community with transformative information to move mind and spirit to a higher state of well-being. So welcome to the Empower Room, and let's get started.
Well, welcome to the Empower Room. I'm your host, Rev T, and thank you all for being with us today. And we ask that you would please like our page, send an emoji, leave a comment, share, and follow us. And I'm your host, Rev T. And the purpose of Empowering Moments is to promote Empower Media, LLC, where we're sharing cultural, civic, and inspirational moments with special guests from all over the world that we've been blessed to be able to have since we started this format. And just so grateful for all the guests that we have had thus far. We have reached a year mark in doing our format, our platform here, and really been really a rich experience. And so grateful for all the guests that we've had. Empower Media LLC is a social empowerment entity, and we empower community through social and digital media, book publishing, programs, and special engagements. And we have over 25 years of experience, and we do have a website that provides you a menu of services that Empower Media provides. And our website is empowermediallc1.com, and that's MPWRmediallc1.com. So spelled a little different than the norm with the normal spelling of Empower. We're doing a play on words. So check us out at MPWRmediallc1.com. All right, and today I thought it would be befitting to have a conversation about how we're doing with all that's going on with COVID-19, the variant that is seems to be on the rise across the country, and all that, the political tension that we're still experiencing at this time, the rise in crime rates, and that type of thing. So I thought it would be good for us to do how are we doing? You know, just a mental checkup with a special guest that I'm blessed to have again with us, Miss Kabrina Forrest. And I'm gonna bring her on now and give her an introduction. All right, how are you doing, Miss Forrest?
I'm doing well, Reverend T. How are you?
All right, all right, all right. I want to thank you for joining us in this dialogue, and I thought it was befitting to kind of have this discussion at this time. And you've been blessed. We've been blessed to have you in the Empower Room a couple of times already. So I'm so thankful for you coming back again and joining in this conversation. And to give people information, Kabrina Forrest is an MA LPC, and she is a licensed therapist with over 20 years of experience in social service and clinical case management. Kabrina has served in multiple capacities over the course of her career. She has been a clinical supervisor for a well-known community mental health agency, as well as a residential substance abuse program. Her area of specialty includes crisis management, having worked as a mobile outreach crisis counselor for over 6 years, then with substance abuse, severe mental illness, and extensive trauma-focused work. Additionally, Kabrina has experience in domestic violence intervention and was a coordinator for juvenile restorative justice program, just to name a few of the wonderful accolades that we have to share and experience that we have in Kabrina Forrest being with us today. And just wanted to dive into the conversation because it's really dear to my heart right now, and I'm checking myself, to be honest, on how I'm doing. So, you might be able to help me out right now. So, appreciate you again coming on. And how are you doing? How are you doing?
Well, first, thank you. I appreciate being asked to be a part of anything. So I don't take it lightly that you consider me someone that you'd want to talk to and want to bring me back. So it is an honor. You have been doing miraculously during this pandemic and doing something different and stepping out there and trying something new. So I just want to give you your kudos for venturing out into this new deep, trying something different, being
Thank
adventurous and then even helping and healing along the way. So which has always been your foundational point ever since I've known you. So
well,
thank
thank
you,
thank
to those listeners and those viewers. I don't know if you hear it enough that, you are doing good work. So thank you for that first and foremost.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
You just don't know how I needed that right now. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, and
I
it's
take
odd
it for
because I was
granted
listening to you kind
sometimes,
of.
you really
Yeah,
do.
you do. You
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
But honestly, there's that old adage that if I can just reach one, and I don't
yes.
think people realize how real that is. Like that's a real thing that if one person can acknowledge whatever efforts and work that you put in, as that song said, my living will not be in
Not be in
vain.
vain.
So
Amen. Amen.
yeah,
Amen.
so
Yes. Thank you.
I wanted to give you those flowers, because not everybody is out there trying to reach people and trying to teach and also be grounded, in that spiritual realm as you are. So there's that compassion and there's that spirituality base. So I wanted to make sure that you know that you are doing a work that is valuable.
Well, thank you so much. I sure appreciate that. See, yeah, look what the Lord did. All right. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yes, he
Always
is.
on time. He knows what you need when you need it. So thank you very, 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 very
You are
much.
welcome,
You just don't
sir.
know how that hit me where I needed to be hit today. So
Well,
thank you.
God bless.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, what are some? I was sharing. I've been, watching the news and seeing the increase of this new variant that's kind of going across the country, and the political foolishness that's going on along with that. And now it looks like there are those that were opposed to it. Now they're changing and singing a different tune now. It starts seems as of this week, and I just went out just a few minutes ago actually, and most people are not wearing masks here in Texas. So and I see in St. Louis they just started the mask mandate. Is that correct? Was that yesterday or something?
That will go into effect tomorrow,
Or it
Monday.
goes into effect tomorrow. Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. So can you give some tips? I mean, and I think it even goes. I wonder if it goes beyond COVID because I don't know if you all are experiencing an increase in crime, there too, and I just think there's a lot more going on than just the effect of the virus. I think it's having a mental effect on those that don't have the virus too. So can you speak to what you're experiencing? What insights do you feel? What can you share?
Well, it's chaotic, right? Like the first word that comes to mind is like it's chaotic.
Okay.
Um, and honestly, there's so many things to dive into, or so many things to look at. I guess the first thing is The initial is the politicizing to
Okay.
vaccinate or not to vaccinate, right?
Right.
That
Right.
somehow became a left and a right issue when
True.
it was actually a pandemic health problem.
True.
So that's the first thing is how do we just make good healthcare, good common sense, following the research, doing what's right for you, what's personal and important for you. How do we just make that personalized and about real, genuine health care, right?
Yeah.
Without making it party affiliated. So there's
Right.
that part.
Right.
And then we've been essentially, for those of us who are following guidelines, on lockdown for over a year and a half now. Like we're
Right.
coming up on a really long period of time. So there's so many things to look at, right? There's also the people who follow the rules. They're following the guidelines. They're staying in the house. They're doing the things. They're wearing the mask. They're doing the hygiene practices. But after a while, when you do a certain thing for so long, you almost get that cabin fever, right? Like you're inside and you're isolated and you're in your little bubble. And then when you get outside, it's like, oh, I'm outside. You know what?
Right. Right.
I'm ready. I'm outside. I'm
Right.
ready.
Right. Right.
And then there's still those, there's still the mindset of there's still got to be boundaries, right? There's still got to be these parameters to put in place. There still has to be this level of caution and concern. And what we're seeing is that there's this huge relief of, okay, I can go outside now. but then there's still this honor system almost of, is everyone going to continue to follow the guidelines? Because
Right.
once you relax a thing, we don't know if it's going to be relaxed for everybody. We
Right.
don't know if I'm still the person that's, I'm pro vaccination,
Right.
but
Right.
I understand,
Mm-hmm.
the logic of someone who may, for health reasons or religious reasons or for personal reasons, who may not be vaccinated. But the
Okay.
problem lies in, can we still all follow the same rules and still be a part of the same processes? And what we're seeing with these rising rates and numbers is, no, we can't, because we're not.
Right.
Everybody is not still keeping their distance. We're not
Right.
still washing our hands. We're not
Right.
still being mindful of one another.
Right.
So that's a whole different issue of lawlessness versus unlawlessness. We know, religiously, that there's wicked things in certain places. So how there's so many facets to it, but and it's more conversation. And I think that's, there's so many conversations. Yeah, crime is increasing because people are desperate. Folks aren't working. There's an inability to work. There's limited income. Then there's the, minimum wages. So there's so many things.
Right.
Right. But, like, what do we do about all that?
Mm.
And, I think that's still a multi-layered, multifaceted conversation. I guess the biggest thing with this epidemic is, how do we not ruin relationships?
Mm.
How do we not start dissension among those that we, love and care about? How do we not make this a left, right, you know, red, blue issue? How
Right.
do we get back to the humanity of it all? And
Mm.
humanity is like, how do I still follow the rules, look out for my brother, look out for my sister, be mindful of my own health, mentally, physically, emotionally, while still following the rules. So there's so many layers to it. And I think that's the thing, is it's getting lost in conversation, that
Right.
where it was at its inset is, this is a health crisis. This is a significant world issue.
Right.
And we're coming up with solutions and things that we need to do to quell this pandemic, to quell
Mm.
these health problems,
Right.
without parsing it out to all these other individual things. Let's make it about what it is. But now this thing has grown bigger because there is now this additional discussion. So
Yeah.
it's multi-layered. To
It
sum it all
really
up, it
is.
can be very chaotic, can be very multi-layered. But at the heart of it, we have to look at individual choice,
Mm-hmm.
individual practices,
Mm-hmm.
and be mindful of those things that will somehow then, in larger scope, help for the greater good and help for our fellow man.
Understand that. Understand that. That and like I say, it is multi-layered for sure. In regard to where we are right now on so many
Mhm.
different levels, and so if you were to give some self-care tips, for folk, what would you recommend? What self-care tips would you provide? I know you've shared before, but I think it would be good for people to hear
Sure.
again, and those that may not have heard before. It's nothing wrong with repetition, especially
Yeah.
in times like these, to remind us, of things
Absolutely.
that we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think, like you said, repetition, and they say it
Mhm.
takes 21 days to make a habit. Sometimes you fall off. These are
Right,
unforeseen times. We have
right.
never seen times like this before.
Never.
So as soon as you think you got that one set of tools in your tool belt, here comes another problem. And
Mhm.
now you got to find some different tools, right? So
Right, right.
and again, there's just nothing like adding on to what you already have. So, first and foremost is, be mindful of how much information you're consuming. Um, if you are depending on which way, there's nothing wrong with education, but
Hmm.
sometimes you can cloud your judgment with too much of one thing or too much of another or too little of something. So, find a channel, whatever that pundit or area you're interested, find that channel, watch news for a little while, be mindful of what's going on in the world, local, nationally, get that information, but then find yourself some shutdown time.
Right.
We can become over inundated and overexposed, and we can just become, overstimulated when we watch too much of certain information. So give yourself some time, carve out, maybe for an hour a day. I'll watch some national news, I'll watch some local news, in order to just become well informed, see what the numbers are, see what the weather's going to be, see what's, happening in the world. But those stories are on a loop, right?
Right.
So maybe give yourself an hour to just kind of consume what you need to consume, learn what you need to learn, and then take a break. Find something that gives you peace or something that gives you joy. I think a lot of people in this pandemic are discovering new habits and new hobbies and new abilities. If that's something you enjoy doing, discover that, explore that. Reading, meditating. A lot of people have been looking into journaling and writing and starting podcasts. Like, find something that gives you some joy. Find something that maybe taps into that creative side that doesn't take, too much away from your daily life, or that's not too financially extravagant, something hopefully healthy. But,
Right.
explore, experiment, find something new to do to kind of put your mind in a different direction. The other thing is the power of social media and video, right? Like, if you can't visit a loved one, whether you're team iPhone or team Android, there are ways to video chat with your family members. I
Yes.
have an 80-year-old great aunt. We're going to teach her, how to get on video call because she's nervous about the virus and we want to
Right.
see her and, love on her, but we're going to teach her how to get on video so you
Right.
can see people, because that's an added connection. It's one thing to hear voices, but
Yeah.
it's another to be able to see that
Right.
someone looks well and that someone is doing well. So show those older, relatives or those who are not as technically savvy as you how
Mm-hmm.
to venture out and go into some of these ways to, video chat and call one another. That's
Right.
another way to kind of help. Um, anything that's going to be healthy for you, something
Right.
non-alcoholic, something,
Right.
that's going to be, cost effective. Reading, finding an author that you love, exploring those things. And definitely, if you can get a therapist, go to therapy.
I understand that.
Jobs are offering for those who are employed EAP services. You can
Yeah.
get sometimes 3 to 6 sessions with a therapist over the phone or by video and just talk out what's going on with you. There are the calm apps or, mindfulness apps where you can actually listen to
Right.
ways to kind of do some relaxation and focusing on things that are important. And then, like I said, going to therapy. They're
Right.
doing video sessions. There's in-person sessions for those who, want to be face to face. And there are some providers who are allowing for that space for those, clients. So there's ways to kind of do this, taking a walk in your own community,
Mm-hmm.
just exercise, stretching, yoga, anything that kind of takes your mind off of or gives you some space. Exploring your own neighborhood, you can find out a lot of really great things. You meet
True.
a lot of really, great people at safe distances. A lot of people are getting pets. If that's something you want to do,
Yeah.
pet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
so there's lots of things you can do,
Right.
but really it's whatever keeps you focused and centered, and that just kind of gets you back to as closely as possible to that, solid foundation or that centering of who you are as an individual.
Yes. Okay. Well, those are some great tips, and some I've used. So I
Yeah.
definitely agree with you wholeheartedly. As far as eliminating the news, cutting that sucker off, giving yourself a break from all that. Exploring hobbies, and then I've heard a lot of people starting, their own businesses and stuff too.
Yeah.
And the video chat is really cool too. In fact, our family does a family prayer call. Actually, one side of my family does a family prayer call where we actually just do the call conference,
Hmm.
through the call, which is cool. We have a ball where we have people that are calling in from Mississippi, California, Georgia,
Wow.
St. Louis, here in Texas. I mean, and it's really been a blessing to do that. And then I have a video one, a Zoom one that I do with my family from Chicago and from California.
Hmm.
So it's just that's those really have been a blessing, and everyone that has been on them has really said how much of a blessing it is for us to be able to do that. And we want to continue to do that. Once we get outside of COVID too. To continue to
Right.
have that relationship. And then as you stated, the therapist, you definitely can't go wrong with that. I'm a strong proponent of that, for
Hmm.
sure. And those apps, the calming apps and meditation apps are really good, as you stated. Reading, exercise, definitely go walk. It don't cost nothing to go outside, put some tennis shoes on,
Nothing.
walk around the block. Come on back. You'll be surprised how much better you feel when you do those type of things in yoga and pets. Hey, I've got my little dog Beethoven. So yeah,
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah. So thank you. Those are wonderful tips, and thank you for those, Kabrina, Miss Forrest. Thank you so much for that. And have you? I know you had shared with us, which I was not aware, and I thank you for being open and transparent with us in regard to your experience with COVID. And
Mhm.
how are things going as for you as a COVID survivor? How have you been doing?
Well, like I said previously, to those who are listening now, I did have COVID. I dealt with it at home. So I was down for about 3 weeks at home, but after that period where you can kind of feel yourself getting better, I
Mm-hmm.
still had some, issues that I couldn't shake.
Mm-hmm.
Had just, yeah, they were just, I just wasn't feeling better. I knew the virus was gone, but I wasn't feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
So within 2 weeks after that, I ended up in the hospital and got a new diagnosis of pulmonary hypertension, which is a chronic illness that impacts heart and lungs due to the buildup of fluid that occurs on your lungs, which causes your heart difficulty of pumping that fluid out and through your body. So it can kind of it can take over, and
Mm-hmm.
cause some significant damage to your heart from that issue with your lungs. So that is what I am dealing with now. So it's a chronic illness. No known cure for it, but definitely manageable with diet, exercise, and medications. And for some like myself, oxygen therapy.
Okay.
Getting air into my lungs actually helps to take the pressure off of my heart because my heart doesn't have to work so hard to manage, my lung functioning. So that's something I'm doing. Now, the strides that I've made um, with improving my exercise, with changing my eating habits, I can actually have moments of rest where I'm not exerting, where I don't need the oxygen. Like I'm seated, I'm not out doing anything, I'm not taking a walk. I can have those periods where I'm still having good oxygen levels without the oxygen therapy. But if I am taking my neighborhood walk, I have my little buddy with me,
Okay.
which I've
Oh,
now named my helper. If I'm
okay.
out shopping, I went out shopping with my mom yesterday. I had my pack on my back with my oxygen, and we went out and did a little socially distant shopping. So it slows down things a little bit, but I'm still going.
Okay. All right.
I may not run any races, but I will still go, at
All
my
right.
own pace. So
All
things
right.
are good, things are better,
Okay.
things are different. I
Oh,
mean, just to be very honest, things are
mhm.
different. You
Okay.
didn't know me with wearing oxygen. People see me out, oh my gosh, what happened? It's not as bad as it looks.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Right.
we're not running any races, but I'm still going to go, and I'm still going to do, and there's still plenty of life to live. So, update is, God is good
Yes.
because there are a lot of people who did not come out of this alive
Yeah.
or, well, or even with a positive outlook. And to be very honest, you have those moments where I do get down on myself, and I do get upset about it. Um, but I remember, that it could be a whole lot worse, you
Mhm.
know.
That's right.
Um, and I'm grateful for that. I also recently did some footage filming for a local hospital facility here. They wanted to share my story, and I actually filmed a documentary for SSM Hospital, and
There
it's
you
on
go.
YouTube. So you can actually see my story of survival through SSM, and they tell a lot of compelling stories of people who had COVID, some who were not as fortunate as I am, who did not survive. So trigger warning there. Um, but yeah, they just kind of tell this story of what COVID really looks like and what we're really faced with. So looking back on that and really seeing where I came from and how I am now,
Mhm.
um, it's a blessing. So
Amen.
I'm doing well. I'm doing
Amen.
well.
Amen. You look marvelous. You look
Well, thank you,
marvelous.
darling.
Yes, indeed. So I'm so glad that God has, brought you through that, and you definitely a wonderful gift to humanity. So grateful that God saw fit to continue to bless you, with good health for sure. So glad to
Thank
hear
you.
that. Yes,
Thank
indeed.
you.
And I did see the SSM YouTube. Uh, 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 I'm going to say program, but presentation.
Yes.
And it was very, very good. Very good. I really enjoyed it. So if people want to go to see that, is there like a specific thing that we need to put in it on YouTube? Do you know what it would
Um,
be? Or
it Yeah, the name of the documentary was called Behind the Mask. And it was SSM.
okay,
So SSM documentary Behind the Mask.
okay, Okay, so it's SSM documentary behind the mask that you can
Yes,
go and see this on YouTube.
you can see it
It's
on
a
YouTube.
very well done presentation, very well done presentation, and thoroughly enjoyed your piece in it as well. With that too, it was very good, very good. So I highly recommend people. That would maybe a way to maybe even encourage folks to be, if they're concerned with the vaccination or anything of that nature, this may be a possible talking point for you to share with those that may be fearful of the vaccination or concerns about COVID and all that. I highly recommend that presentation, SSM behind the mask. All right. All right. So, have you seen an increase of people needing counseling at all from your professional standpoint?
Well, I am part of a couple of professional groups, but I'm not doing any practicing at this point.
Okay.
But I can say from the gauging of the groups and talking to other therapists that I do have networks with,
Mm-hmm.
yes, there is an influx in therapy. It's not necessarily COVID related in most
Mm-hmm.
of the sessions, but
Okay.
I think people are actually recognizing trauma. And
Right.
that has been really significant is that in TV and media and even, just on some of your favorite shows or listen to some of your favorite hosts, the conversation is changing regarding trauma. And I
Right.
think that while people are in the house,
Mm-hmm.
can't really go anywhere,
Right.
what better thing to do than work on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we
Mm-hmm.
exercise, we eat right, but like working on that internal and those internal mechanisms. So there's definitely a discussion that is increasing and improving, particularly in Black communities, about working on ourselves and exploring that mental trauma. So there have been several of my colleagues have significant wait lists. They're, sharing resources and information. So absolutely, I am so proud, of our community and our network that we are really diving deep into our childhood history and our significant traumas as we were
Right.
coming up and growing up. It's awesome,
Right.
that there's real dialogue and there's real change happening, and people are no longer afraid to say, you know what, I'm not feeling okay,
Right.
and it's
Right.
not related to a headache, it's not
Right.
related to a stomach ache, it's just something's going on and I want to do the work to fix it, or I want to do a deep dive into why my relationships may not be working out, why I may be switching employers all the time, or
Right.
why do I have issues with authority, or why am I having these struggles. People are exploring that. So yes, there has been an influx and an increase
Mm-hmm.
in, seeking out services. And I
Mm-hmm.
am excited for us doing our internal work and us doing our healing on ourselves. I'm excited to see that happen.
That's great. That's great. Well, that's good to hear that people are seeking help. Because yeah, this is interesting. I mean, it's like you say, it's multi-layered as far as what is happening. That I think it's good to do a checkup on yourself on more regularly than the norm due to us dealing with unnormal circumstances.
Right.
For sure. That is for sure. Yep. So, are there any final concerns or suggestions or anything you would like to share with the audience today?
Yeah, like I said, I've been seeing a lot of dissensions between folks about to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. Right?
Okay.
Like that's the biggest discussion is, it's gone be like I said, gone beyond political prowess, it's gone beyond, party affiliation. We're starting to lose relationships.
Hmm.
People are falling out
True.
with one
That's true.
another.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can't let that happen. We
Right.
just can't do that.
Right.
If you have a disagreement with a friend or a colleague or a peer, let that rest there. I mean? It
Mhm.
shouldn't take falling out with your family because they choose not to vaccinate. If
Right.
that's not what they want to do, then accept that.
Right.
Make your necessary adjustments as an individual
Right.
and go with that. We may not need to be doing an indoor gathering at your home if you're not vaccinated. We may not be going anywhere together for a while if you're not vaccinated, but that should not take away my love, my respect, or my care for you as an individual. So like we have other things as a society and as individuals that we're dealing with. So let's not make this a point of contention amongst those we love and care about. Provide education if they ask for it.
Okay.
Offer your side effects if you had any. Offer your thoughts on why you feel like it's important if they're asking. But I think we're doing ourselves a disservice by damaging and tearing down these relationships because of a differing of opinion. So same thing to anti-vaxxers. Do not tell me you don't know what they put in your body. I was vaccinated as an infant. You know what I mean? My mother took me to the doctor and I had all kinds of vaccinations as an infant. I have no idea. I've gone on jobs where they've required me to get TB and Hep B.
Yes.
And if you wanted that check, you got that shot. So, so vaccinate to not vaccinate. Let's not make this that point to where it tears down relationships. And most importantly, follow all the rules and the guidelines. Let's not cause violence and fighting and, all of this unnecessary. You can make whatever choices you want to make as an individual, but understand that every choice has a consequence. So let's not fall out. Let's not, go to places that we don't need to go and do things we don't need to do because of a personal choice. Now, honor those choices of other people, and do what's necessary. But, there's too much going on in the world for us to lose love, for us to lose support, for us to lose these very necessary connections, especially if we are going to be shut down again. You need those people. You need those people. You need those relationships. So, whatever side you're on, respect that person's choice and conduct yourself accordingly.
Understand. What? I thank you so much, Ms. Forrest, for being on with us. Ms. Forrest is a licensed therapist there out of the St. Louis, Missouri area, and just want to thank her again so much for being on with us here in the Empower Room. I believe this is her third time being on with us, and so thank you so much. All right, we appreciate it. There's a wonderful 3 is a wonderful number.
It is a wonderful number.
Yes, it is. So, hey, we want to continue to keep you in prayer, and so
thank
glad
you.
You're doing well, and pray God's continued blessings upon you and your family. And thank you so much again for coming on in the Empower Room. Is there do you have contact information that you would like people to know to reach out to you if they need to, or?
Well, you know what? I'm always open for questions. I can be found on Facebook.
Okay.
But yeah, the biggest point of contact, I would say, for anybody who's seeking therapy or seeking support, please look out at your local crisis lines. Contact the mental health number on the back of your insurance cards.
Okay.
Locally, if you're uninsured or underinsured, there are several community mental health centers throughout the St. Louis area. Even urgent care has behavioral health providers sometimes on staff if you need to go into urgent care and discuss matters. Find those hospitals or facilities that actually have psychiatric or therapeutic services. But they're definitely being a lot more mindful when you go to receive support on checking in on your mental health. So like I said, EAP for those who are employed. There's behavioral health listings if you're insured, where you can find a therapist that's actually going to, work with you. And for those who don't have insurance, behavioral health response, where I personally worked for 6.5 years, they have a crisis line 24/7 if you absolutely need somebody to talk to. They're, master's level and licensed therapists who are willing to talk with you or even come out, or do a video chat with you in the event of an emergency. And you can reach them via phone at 314-469-6644. Again, locally in St. Louis, that's 314-469-6644.
All right.
And like I said, they can direct you whether you are fully insured, Medicaid, no insurance. They can direct you to local community mental health centers in the city, county, whatever area you're in that would offer that supported sliding fee scales, and sometimes as low as $5 a session. So there is help out there. The wait may be a bit longer, but it's worth it. And again, if you are in need, definitely, contact your local behavioral health providers, get that help and get that support that you need, and somebody's going to be there to listen.
Awesome. Well, Kabrina, Miss Forrest, and I keep saying Kabrina because though I say Kabrina,
we're friends. This is okay. I think I've been here 3 times. I think they know me by Kabrina. I think it's okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, thank you so much for being on with us again. And
Thank you.
Continued blessings upon you, and we hope to have you again. In
Absolutely.
the future on some more pleasant conversations and that type of thing. And again, thank you so much for coming on and being in the Empower Room with us once again.
Absolutely. And please give Deb my best. I know she's somewhere around.
Yes,
so
she
please
is.
Tell her I said hello.
I certainly will. All right. God bless.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So we have been blessed with a wonderful dialogue with a great friend, Kabrina Forrest, licensed therapist in St. Louis, Missouri. Hope that you have been able to get some wonderful tips in regard to doing a self checkup. You maybe need to shake some of this off with this COVID residue, or maybe tension, grieving, anxiety, whatever. Had some wonderful tips that Ms. Forrest provided for us this afternoon, and hope that you will consider some of these. Definitely limiting the news that you watch, trying a new hobby, reading a book, seeking a therapist, video chatting with family. I also recommend you can do free conference calls with families, exercise, all these wonderful things that we are able to do, to be able to cope, to make it through this experience, and to take us to another level humanistically too. I think it's just a wonderful thing. So again, I want to thank Kabrina Forrest, licensed therapist, for being on with us. And Empower Media LLC1.com is our website. If you'd like to learn more about Empower Media LLC1, Empower Media, I would encourage you to go to our website at empowermediallc1.com. We also have a Twitter page, and it's at LLC MPWR, and our Instagram page is Empower Media LLC, and we are also launching our Patreon page as well, which is Patreon /Empower Media LLC, which we're looking to expand through our Empower Generation initiative that we're starting here. And of course, if you want to reach out to us by phone, feel free to call us at 1-888-970-9557. All right, and without further ado, I also would like to introduce to you our wonderful self-published book by myself, In the Blink of an Eye, and it tells the story of me having a sudden death heart attack on February 14, 2014. And it's my testimony, if you will, that has really been a blessing to a lot of people that have been blessed to be able to read the book, purchase the book, which is available on Amazon.com. And the title is In the Blink of an Eye by Reverend Timothy B. Hughes, MDiv. And it's available in paperback and Kindle ebook on Amazon.com. You can also go to our website, EmpowerMediaLLC1.com. Go to the store page, and you'll see the book available that will take you to Amazon as well if you click on the book there. And we also have our this is our second edition of the Examiner Quarterly. Our third edition will be coming out in September. The second edition was very well received so far. We had a wonderful cover story of the Kenyan nonviolence philosophy, and some of the initiators of the philosophy that have trained and shared the training of the Kenyan nonviolence philosophy all over the world. And these faces that you see on the front are three of the persons of foundation, if you will, that have been very instrumental over the years of administering this. I hope that some of the faces you may recognize for sure, as you see on the front of the cover, Dr. Bernard Lafayette, Charles Alphen Sr., and Chuck Alphen Jr. And they are wonderful, wonderful gentlemen. Have been blessed to be in training with them when I was in St. Louis, and it's an outstanding presentation. And you can get certified to be able to provide that philosophy of nonviolence in your community. All right, so we want to thank you all so much for being with us in the Empower Room. We look forward to being back with you all again in a couple of weeks. And one last thing, we're going to do a special summer series on each month. And the first one will be on this Thursday. And this Thursday at 7:30 p.m., the conversation will be about social justice in the Black church. Social justice in the Black church on Thursday, right here on Empower Media's Facebook page. And hope you all will come back with us. Again, that'll be this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Looking to line up some wonderful guests for that dialogue, that conversation, and hope to have you all back then on this Thursday at 7:30. All right, so God bless. Thank you for joining us in the Empower Room, and please check us out at Empower Media, LLC1.com, and don't forget to like our page, follow us, send us an emoji on today's presentation, and with our special guest, Kabrina Forrest. Thank you. God bless. You know, have a wonderful week, and don't forget to do something. All right, don't forget, do something. God bless you. Take care.
Thank you for joining us in the Empower Room. Hope you have received some impactful information. Please like or leave a comment. See you next week in the Empower Room, brought to you by Empower Media LLC and your host, Reverend Timothy Hughes, aka Rev T.